Mustafa al-Hajj was 21 when he was arrested for murder. 25 years later, his family is expecting him to walk through the door on Wednesday, freed as a goodwill gesture by the Israelis as a second round of talks about the peace process begins. He was jailed for killing former US Marine Steven Rosenfeld, who was hiking in Ariel in 1989 after becoming a settler in the West Bank. Rosenfeld was stabbed to death.
He would have died in jail if not for this agreement. The Israeli who kills a Palestinian gets 2 to 3 years maximum, and he gets to lead a normal life.
The 26 names on the list are part of the 104 prisoners expected to be released if the peace process progresses. All of those in this first group were serving life sentences or 20 to 25 years for killing or being accessories to murder or attempted murder. But all were due to be released 20 years ago as part of the 1993 Oslo Peace Accord. Israel did release thousands of prisoners at the time, but refused to set free those it described as having blood on their hands.
Releasing prisoners who were jailed in the 80s and 90s before the Oslo Peace Accords were signed is one of the key issues for the Palestinians around the peace talk table. But this so-called goodwill gesture by the Israelis has been overshadowed by another issue, that of the now planned construction of another 1,200 settlement homes in the occupied territories. The negotiators say the two aren't linked, but it's led many to believe that perhaps these are two of the hard concessions US Secretary of State John Kerry talked about when the two sides met with him in Washington last month.
In a court in Jerusalem, Israeli families of some of those killed by prisoners on the list appeal against their release. Lawyer Ian Feinberg was working in Gaza in 1993 when Palestinian fighters stabbed him to death.
Why aren't they saying you can't let these murderers go free? That's no way to start a peace process.
The families are distraught that the men who killed their relatives are being used as bargaining chips. Leo Tubal was stabbed to death in Jerusalem in 1990.
I feel awful. How should I feel? No one can feel what we're feeling. It's been 20 years that we can't sleep.
The families have 48 hours to appeal against the release, but the decision to set them free was a political one, not one based on the crimes they've committed. The 48 hours comes to an end very early on Wednesday morning, when they are expected to become free men. Sue Turton, Al Jazeera, Jerusalem.